r/ask Reddit. What do you miss the most from pre-COVID? Not having to talk about the same damn thing all the time. This is a major pet peeve of mine as well. Seeing people is already harder, but when I do see them it's not as fun because we met up 2 weeks ago and literally nothing new happened. No trips, no spontaneous ideas, a lot less travels, no unexpected meetups. I've been dating, and I think over half my dates have had a near burnout in the past year. Last year I met up with a friend and she said, oh yeah, I already know everything you want to say. I saw your housemate last week and she was goddamn right. It sucks. Talking to my dad on the phone, I'm like, sorry, I'm boring, literally nothing is happening here. Wake up, do school work, eat food, go to bed, repeat. If it's an exciting day we go for a walk or get groceries. Ugh, I am so sick of COVID. I miss the fact of just being sick without any other kind of concern. I have chronic, but mild, reflux. Irritates my throat, causing me to feel the need to clear it. Every other week it's been, is this cough the normal cough or COVID, Having seasonal allergies is a nightmare from a social grace perspective. Sneezing is like firing a blank in a crowd. Making appointments of various kinds, medical, dental, renewing driver's licenses and such, and especially vet appointments, seems like a huge hassle now, and sometimes the next free slot is weeks, months out. LOL, yeah. I had something come up right before a dentist appointment and called to reschedule. First appointment was another 6 months. Then during the cleaning they're like, you got a lot of build up. Why did you wait so long to come in for a cleaning? Listen, mother ducker. Lihin mu her fu Reddit. Welp, never expected gilding for leaning my head back and opening my mouth, so thank you. My favorite California burrito place. They're gone. They were jammed in a small space in a strip mall, but their prices and quality kicked the crap out of the competition. I put one of their paper menus in my filing cabinet so I will always remember them. I can't believe I didn't post it. So many requests for the name. It was El Amigo in Imperial Beach, San Diego. RIP all the places I didn't get to try because pre-COVID I was like, oh, I can go there whenever, no rush. Just think, I retired in January of 2020 thinking, great, I'll be able to travel the country now. Deaf person able communicate with people without a mask, so I can see their face and read lips. I've been feeling lonely. Yes man guys, I just saw this as of now and all those awards. Bro, thank you so much. Reddit people on here, you're my friends. Internet hugs. Thank you for making my day. I wish more knew about this. One of my friends is a huge advocate for deaf and hard of hearing folks, and she is a big proponent for clear masks. Obviously not on the same level, but I have some minor hearing damage and I find it so much harder to talk to someone with a mask on unless we are in a quiet surrounding. I can't even imagine your frustration. Is there anything that hearing people can do to help deaf people out in this situation, other than the clear masks? Texting on your notes app on your phone seems to be the only way to communicate in noisy situations. That, and patience. As frustrated as a hearing person might feel with having to repeat themselves for the one deaf person they encounter, imagine being the deaf person that has to deal with it all day, every day. Someone being impatient with me can make me feel like shit for the rest of the day. Lower prices. Housing went up. Food as well. Prices of petrol, electricity and heating are through the roof. Rest assured that our wages will stay low until the inevitable economic meltdown. Just got my annual review. Can confirm. I miss not thinking about everything as pre-COVID. Before the pandemic, I usually just thought of past events as past events. But now, I often find myself labeling everything from 2019 and back as, oh, that was before COVID. It's sad that the pandemic has gotten to the point where it defines your entire life. I'm the exact same way. Everything is now organized as pre-COVID, early COVID, or current COVID in my head right now. The weird thing for me is that the definition of early COVID keeps changing. By summer 2020, it felt like we had been in COVID for a very long time. But now, that's solidly in the early COVID stage. The certainty, and even if life was uncertain in its own way, was never this uncertain. Got a holiday booked for 6 months time, 99. 9% you'll get to do it. Got a wedding to look forward to. Yeah, that was going to happen. Now we can't even be certain there's anything to look forward to. Edit. Thank you for the kind awards. Here's hoping that we get to do all the things this year. I never realized how much I counted on trips before the pandemic. Whenever I was sad or stressed out with work, I would remind myself it's okay. We're going to in 2 weeks. Just gotta get through these 2 weeks. I have nothing planned anymore because it'll just get cancelled or rescheduled, and ultimately cancelled or forgotten about. The only things I am looking forward to now are therapy, Zooms and doctor appointments. Future is bleak. Edit. So I was in a bad place when I wrote this comment. I feel a lot better, especially after reading a lot of kind responses. There is a lot to look forward to, but it has been a rough couple years and I think we're all tired. I had a trip for Japan in April of 2020. Cancelled. I rebooked for March 2022. Cancelled. I just want to go to Japan. Being present-minded. Here and now sort of mentality. Last 2 years feels like I've paused things waiting for this pandemic to blow over. But the more time passes, the more I feel like I'm just wasting away, if it makes sense. Edit. Thank you guys for the awards and what is by far my most upvoted comment. Just wanted to clarify that my mental health is fine as far as this pandemic goes, but the comments' concerns are appreciated. Stay safe and as optimistically positive as your situation allows. Working from home and rarely leaving the house has me losing track of time. Find myself having trouble recognizing the date or day of the week. I agree. Let's hope 2021 is a better year than last year. Live music, going to shows, not having foggy glasses all the time from mask wearing. This. I went to a gig in December and it felt like a shot of cocaine through my system. It was unreal. I forgot what it was like to dance and sing and enjoy music. Glad I was at an outdoor music festival because I was hit hard with emotion at the first notes of Jimmy Eat World and my sunglasses could hide the tears. Understanding what people say. I have bad hearing loss and I rely hard on reading lips. Far more than I realized. Now that everyone is wearing a mask and their voice is slightly muffled, I'm constantly asking people to repeat themselves. Honestly, just the feeling of security we didn't realize. You want to go out, go for it. Making plans somewhere out of town. You go right ahead. Planning a vacation somewhere. No problem. Now you can't really make any large scale plans without a decent chance it'll get cancelled and you lose the down payments. I finally gave up and got a refund after a music festival I had tickets to was postponed 4 times. Like, I get why, but there's only so much you can take. In-person classes. Before COVID, I took a drawing class, a sewing class, etc. Now, it's so much harder to try out a new hobby. The problem is that in isolation you have more time to try out new hobbies, but you're too exhausted from how upsetting the world is to have the discipline to keep up those hobbies in isolation. I try not to feel guilty about letting myself do nothing for a while if I feel overwhelmed. Early on in the pandemic I started a whole new Minecraft world, as well as joined a small Minecraft server, built an entire base in my private world, started creating a road system to connect my sub-bases around the world map, and at the same time built not 1, but 2 massive castles, in survival, on the server, while also helping other members explore and find new biomes. Had so much freaking free time that I was able to do all of that. Get bored and switch over to playing a new character in Skyrim. Get bored of that and start replaying all my Legend of Zelda games. And it's now 2022 with Omicron keeping us safely sheltered and I'm starting to consider making yet another new Minecraft world. I've come full circle and things still haven't changed for the better in the outside world. Casually popping into restaurants. Thought it said pooping. Still applies. Not living in a constantly changing system. Pre-COVID, everything was scheduled. School holidays, places were open to visit, but since COVID, everything that has to do with the government is constantly changing. I just miss being on stable ground. I graduated in 2019 and decided to take a gap year in 2020, and thank duck that I did. So now you are on gap year number 3, nice. Vacations. I had one booked for tail end of the 20th of March 20, literally got cancelled on me about a week prior. I miss vacations and being able to travel. Listen to this. I somehow lucked into a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go on a 9-day vacation to the Galapagos Islands tomorrow. It's been in the works for 8 months, and I've been insanely excited. Work from home. Basically don't go anywhere. If I do I am masked, and specifically stopped leaving the house on the 1st of January to be safe. COVID-wise. Fully vaxxed. Boosted about a month ago. Got COVID anyway. Really have no idea how. No one in or out in the past 10 days. Symptoms started the 5th of January. Feeling better now. But I just took a PCR test, and there's a chance that it may be negative and COVID is over for me and I can go on my amazing trip. But what are the ducking odds? I made it this far and I get it now. Sorry, I'm stressed and upset. Edit. I absolutely hope this I'm not rubbing this in the noses of all you wonderful people who have shared their tragic stories of COVID ruining their plans, but the test is negative. Adios America and hola Ecuador. Thanks for all of the support. Now I've got to finish packing. The flight leaves at 5. Trust me, I feel you 10,000%. I booked a vacation for the 18th of January, months ago. Stayed home since the 30th of December, the 2nd of January. Had to go to work on the 3rd of January and take the train. I live in NYC. Started feeling sick the 4th of January and 5th. Took a test the 6th of January. Received positive results on the 7th of January. I'm quarantined until the 17th of January. Have to take a test on the 17th of January. Hoping and praying that it's negative so I can get to go. I am so disappointed and saddened. All the restaurants that went out of business. Tried and true ramen shops. Chino Cubano hole in the walls. Classic Italian fare. The underrated Mediterranean fusion spot that always gave you a little extra hummus without you asking. All the places my fiance and I used to get lost in. They're all ducking gone. It really sucks. Local or small businesses. 2. There used to be a family video hanging on a couple blocks down. And we loved the nostalgia of browsing the new releases and back titles and renting a couple movies for the weekend. It shut down about 6 months ago. My mother-in-law gave me money for lessons for a sewing shop down the corner that offer lessons on their website. I was so excited because I just got into sewing and I want to learn. Turns out, they've been closed for over a year. As much as I disliked Walmart, damn do I miss them and other stores being open late night. All of my night shift friends have suffered and forced to only shop on days off. I used to go to Walmart at around 2300 hours anytime I needed something and it was so much better. I could get everything I wanted right away and if I was bored, I could gander stuff in electronics. No lines. No a-holes. Usually shelves were stocked or the pallets were sitting in the aisles and I could grab what I needed and boom. All done. Now it's a hassle every time because everyone needs to fit their shopping in during less hours. I bet that hasn't helped with spreading the virus by making more people come together in a shorter amount of time. Day shift worker here, but I used to do my grocery shopping around midnight, and it was so much better. I could always get a good parking spot. There was no waiting for people blocking aisles. Checking out rarely had a line. I could be in and out in under 10 minutes instead of upwards of 20. Not to mention the likely COVID risk mitigation of off-peak shopping. At least a quarter of other shoppers were either unmasked or dong-nosing the last couple times I went. Being excited about the future. This is the big one. Duck. I miss having hopes and dreams. A normal university experience. Where I live, many universities have been mostly virtual since the 20th of March 20, so the community and social aspects of university has been almost entirely absent. And the fact that we're still paying full price for zero amenities and bullshit classes, some of which don't even meet, is straight highway robbery. Exactly, you'd think they'd at least half the tuition or not charge facilities fees, but good lord, they're seriously out here charging $65,000 a year for ducking Zoom classes. My grandparents. I'm so very sorry. I miss my son. His psychiatrist, therapist and support groups were unavailable to him because of COVID. He died by suicide last year. Duck COVID. Loss of a child always holds strong in the emotions of parents. My wife and I lost our firstborn son suddenly 22 years ago. His was so unexpected. Everything fine one day and rapid emotional overload the next. The initial moment being told he's gone. Having to inform family members. having to schedule a funeral and pick out a casket. The whole time going through the anger stage of grief myself, by that point saying this is never supposed to happen this way. He is supposed to attend my funeral one day, not the other way around. First year is always toughest. First the son's birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, your own birthday, Christmas, etc. Without your child, as the years pass, each subsequent year's events are easier to face, but the grief is still there. As someone who has also gone through loss of a son, albeit at barely a couple of months old, I unfortunately understand the emotions. It's a devastating group to have to be associated or part of in life, but I get it. My waistline. I remember seeing the joke floating around all over the internet of, now that I've lived through a plague I understand why Renaissance paintings are all a bunch of chubby women laying around with their tits out. It's pretty on the nose. Started the first 6 months of COVID by getting down to 180 from 190. I'm up to 223 now. All I think about is food. Traveling internationally. Frankly, I'd prefer if you stuck to local gutters, thank you. Did not notice their username and just thought this was an unprovoked but absolutely explosive burn. Socialization. It's so hard to make friends right now. I feel very isolated. Edit. Holy shit, thank you. Also, we're all so lonely. Same. And I'm struggling to keep in touch with my existing friends. Even texting is effort. And it feels like I've run out of things to talk about. I have no idea how to socialize anymore. Not directly thinking about the worst thing ever when I hear someone cough. Especially with elderly family members. If they clear their throat during a phone call, there's a small oh no, grandpa might be dead in a few weeks thoughts in the back of my head. Seriously, it's like a movie set in Victorian times where you hear a character cough once and you just know that tuberculosis has already got them. Not feeling like society is a joke. Honestly, the pandemic really hit home that we are all just making it up as we go along and no one knows what they are doing. I miss the very beginning of COVID when people's society were coming together, like when Disney Plus was free to help boredom, and people were making makeshift food pantries in their neighborhood. I feel like it quickly shifted from the pandemic bringing people together to pushing them so far apart. My sister. Not seen her in person since the start of she works abroad. Sure, we video chat, but 2 years is a long time to not see someone in person. Yeah, this is probably it for me as well. I'm the one overseas and I haven't seen my family in 2.5 years, and it will be at least 3 before I am able. I've missed deaths, births, weddings and so many holidays and get-togethers. At this point I have begun to feel so disconnected from their lives that it's stressful thinking about trying to catch up, and to be honest I am pulling away from them and becoming numb to it. As a person who works nights, stores and restaurants that are open late, I used to be able to get out of work at whatever hour and have a dozen different grocery stores and fast food restaurants I could stop at on the way home. And now 2 years after the pandemic I have only 1 or 2, and sometimes they'll be closed anyway for whatever reason. Really living. This feels like just existing. I'm stuck with this overwhelming feeling of ennui. Bored with food. Bored with TV. Bored with social media. Bored with books. I feel the same. A stagnant feeling. I guess I miss not having a stack of inconveniences that have to be dealt with in order to do public things. It's not that any one inconvenience is too much, but it's just so many little things. Amen to that. All the little things add up. Not being able to book things long in advance because you have no idea what the situation will be like in a handful of months. You can sure as hell buy the tickets for a gig that's happening months from now, but is it actually gonna happen when it's supposed to? Who TF knows? Man shrugging. My Matchbox 2020 concert tickets now 2022 tickets. My teen is not amused that I am calling the band Matchbox 22. Spontaneity pre-COVID. If I wanted to go to a store or restaurant I went. I didn't have to check its COVID hours, mask requirements, whether it was open or just for pickup, etc. Same. I want to go to a museum, have to book a space on their website, be on time for my time slot. This coupled with the fact that nothing is 24 hours anymore. I used to do my grocery shopping at some point after 11 PM, or I might get a craving at midnight or something. Open bracket. I'm just a night owl. More mild depression. I have major depression now and getting a therapist is basically impossible because everyone has depression. In addition of maybe having other mental problems. I'd love to have the ability to get therapy now, instead of in 2 months, and then I go there without being accepted. For real, my depression has gotten worse. And conversely, it seems like all my friends have vastly improved their lives and careers in the last 2 years while I am barely hanging on mentally. It makes me feel extra alone. Edit. Thanks for all the replies and little award guy. Appreciate the forum to vent. Just wanted to say as another depressed person, on the outside I look like I very much have my shit together. In the last 12 months I got a high profile job, started living by myself, doing more adult shit with my money, etc. However, my mental health has absolutely tanked to the point where my psych suggested ketamine infusions. TLDR, if you can reach out, I think you may be surprised at how many of your friends put up a good front. You're not alone. Easy travel. Pre-COVID I used to head either overseas or interstate often, with minimal planning needed. I renewed my passport December 2019, so that was a unnecessary cost considering. Feeling like I could trust people to do the right thing. This is it for me. I didn't think that all humans were sunshine and roses before the pandemic, but I feel like I had some sort of belief that if something really bad was to happen, a war, a tragedy, etc., people would come together to protect one another and support one another. Maybe this is because I was young and impressionable when 9/11 happened and I saw that response. And I feel like that whole innocent belief has been shattered. I feel so suspicious of people and their motives now. I feel like I can't trust anyone that I don't know. And I just assume people will always act in their own interests no matter what the consequence may be. I feel like a much more bitter and cynical person and I hate it. I looked at some pictures from pre-COVID the other day and I just looked lighter, unburdened in a way. I miss it. I don't think that feeling will ever come back. When the vaccine came out I was waiting for a ticker tape parade, a collective cry of relief, celebration, gratitude for life, and mourning those who didn't make it or were broken by it. That didn't happen. Regular ducking doctor appointments. No, I do not want to do my annual OBGYN visit through a video. Pretty sure that's how you get porn. Wait, not trying to be crude here, but did they really offer that as an option? An OB-GYN exam over video chat? That does seem insane to me. My fiancé went from the most socially active person on the planet to a lonely a-hole. Some got engaged and disappeared. Lots of them went away for work. Others simply disappeared, and knowing new people is hard as hell nowadays. These things all happened even before, but pandemic really got them bigger. God only knows how bad I'd go back in time. I still talk with my really close friends, but I had so many friendships dissipate during the pandemic because we just couldn't really hang out and didn't bother to keep in touch. It sucks. I spend most of my time at home now. My optimism for my future. Uber pool. I used to always be able to get cheap Ubers with it and rarely had anyone else ride with me. Can barely get regular Ubers. I needed one this morning. Checked the app and it was busy time and the minimum cost was over $40. Switched to Lyft and got a ride for $10, but it took a while for a driver to pick it up. Hugging people without any concerns. I used to try to be mindful of my waste, and for the most part other people did too, but I use so many disposable masks and wet wipes now and I feel really bad about it. Y'all are saying this comment is ignorant. It's not. My job and federal clients straight up refuse to allow us to use cloth masks. We have to use N95 or better. Not having constantly changing rules. This is an underrated one because it impacts just about everything else. Is indoor dining allowed this week? Is there a limit to the number of people gathering? How far in advance do I need a test to travel? Do I need a PCR or some other test? Is alcohol still allowed for pickup, at least with the lockdowns? You were inside and that was it. Now you have options for going out and doing things, but you have to keep up to date on the ever-changing requirements just to enjoy small activities. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.